Did you ever have anything in high school at all, or it was legit just friends?
No, just friends. Just friends. Yeah.
I get what you're saying of like you never saw him as something, but I'm like, when you look back, is there any memory that you're like, maybe there was something or no?
No, never.
Good evening, gentlemen, and a few of you ladies that may be listening. This is Spiritual Art of War, back at it again with another episode. And this time we're going to talk about Ayesha Curry and FOMO, the fear of missing out, when it comes to the modern woman. You know, Steph Curry's situation of, you know, him meeting Ayesha Curry when he was younger. There's a lot of things going on with her in that situation. She clearly was like the more popular of the two growing up. And this is what happens when a man is able to secure his woman, the woman that he wants, because of his fame and fortune. And I could think about a situation kind of similar to that. When I was growing up, it's just like any other man. There's, you know, you had a girl that you're really into, that you've probably grown up with, and she might have been like, you know, popular, fine, or whatever, right? And the girl I'm talking about, just in my own personal situation, was literally a rival of Beyonce. Like, no lie. Okay, they went to the same middle school together. They went to Welch Middle School on the southwest side of town, and Beyonce went to Elsick High School in A-Leaf. In fact, with my cousin, who was very popular at that high school as well. And then after that, Beyonce went to a school called HSPVA. And the girl that was a rival was 1 year younger than her. But they were like known as like the two baddest girls like at Welch Middle School before going on to high school, which they ended up both going to the Performance Arts High School. And Beyonce, you know, of course, her trajectory, you know, her father training her to be a musician and all that stuff. The other girl was actually trained really to be a dancer, but she's actually like a recognized ballroom dancer, or you could say salsa merengue, like on a global scale. But they just had two different paths when it came to the arts, the performing arts, you could say. And this girl had a huge crush on. Okay, I'm not gonna say her name. You know what I'm saying? But if I were to say her first and last name, she'd be easy to look up. She's married happily. I think she's on her way to have a second child. This is a long time ago, but you know, she still is one of those women that still got it. Trust me. You know what I'm saying? She still got it. She's never been out of shape in her life. I'm gonna put it like that. Ever been out of shape. So anyway, I can imagine like what Steph Curry's probably dealing with when it comes to Ayesha. Because you exceeded her expectations and you always liked her. You became an NBA player. You know, this is a guy that was not highly recruited. He had to go to Davidson. Davidson is a school that pretty much nobody really knew about when it came to basketball. But he went there. He was a late bloomer. He grew a little bit more. His jumper, you know, continued to get more refined, because that was going to be the only thing that was going to get him into the league, was going to be that handle and that jumper. And he showed it off in the NCAA tournament, and his name rang bells and drills. He showed himself to be the best shooter in those pre-draft camps, and he ends up making it to NBA, and he ends up taking her along with her. And I could even think about my own situation where, you know, what if I continued on an athletic path, and I was able to go and get this same female that I had a crush on for years. I mean, probably literally my first crush. So probably similar to like Steph, like being with the girl that you always crushed on, and she's not going to say no because you're going to the NBA. And I'm pretty sure had I focused on, you know, had I had a path towards being an athlete, either in football or basketball, I easily would have been able to get her, you know what I'm saying, to take that walk with me. And knowing myself and my mentality at the time, that she would have been the only girl that I would have been interested in taking on that journey. Even though we grew up with each other, even though we attended the same church, but I never asked her out. She went to a whole different school. I went to a whole different high school, but we went to the same church, so I'd still see her every Sunday growing up. She was a year younger than me. I was too shy to ask her out to the prom. And the rest is history. Nothing ever came up of it. We kind of went our own ways. Now, I can imagine that you would be way more confident to pursue a woman that you have a crush on since you were a kid if you're going to the NBA, okay? Or if you're basically on your way to the NBA. And the fact is that when a woman does not have genuine burning desire for you from the beginning, even you improving and becoming a Steph Curry is not enough to fulfill that appetite of strong desire, to satiate her. This is a big, big thing. And I think even those in the red pill circles, is this reason why I have kind of like I'll give credit to like a Rollo Tomasi on the fact that he always talks about the genuine burning desire. But it looks to me that no matter how, and it's obvious, she has a problem with the fame of Steph Curry, because I think because of Steph Curry's fame, like I'm telling you, it's a psychological thing, because she just really can't believe that he is the Steph that we know him to be. But to her, he's just the kid that she wasn't interested in, that had a crush on her all these years, and she probably can't ever look at him as anything different. She looks at him as like, oh, that's Steph. Because to me, I think a lot of their relationship was built on the fact, on her end, that she knew that other women wanted him, and I think that gave her satisfaction that she had him and other women couldn't have him. But it didn't mean that she really wanted him. And there's a lot of relationships that are like that, where women will get with a man because he's highly desired, but they don't really want him. They just like the fact that they have him and the other women don't have him. And that's kind of similar to like Will Smith and Jada Pinkett. Will Smith and Jada Pinkett, his relationship is really more predicated on the fact that Will Smith was the man in Hollywood, and she knew that other women wanted him, even women more desirable probably than she is. But women never look at it like that. They look at it like if they look at it like if Will Smith wants you, that means you're the best. No, honey, it doesn't mean that. I think that's the same way with Ayesha. Ayesha probably feels like, oh, I'm the best man, I'm the best woman for him. That's why he wants to be with me. And it's not even that. It's just that it's more of a sentimental value that he placed on you because he grew up with you. And truth be told, I think that the innocence of you as a young man coming into age and you always wanting a particular woman, there's a different feeling when you're with that woman, bro. That's how men look at it. And some women. But when a man chooses like his high school sweetheart or his high school crush, man, that's a whole different energy, bro. She means something so much more different to you than another new woman who you have to get to know would be. It's just a different situation. You know what I'm saying? So, because a lot of times those women are somewhat inspirational, motivational to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, she wouldn't even understand that he might have been motivated to be a better version of himself because he wanted her so bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, men get like that. They, that knight in shining armor, they kind of go through that type of thing. It's just, you see the situation even in the Bible with David and Saul's daughter. He was willing to go and, into battle and kill a certain amount of Philistines and bring their foreskins back to get Saul's daughter. So it's not like men are not incapable of being heavily motivated by a woman that they are crushing on. Men are very heavily motivated. I watched the movie My Girl with Macaulay Culkin and Anna Chlumsky. Man, that's a heavy movie, bro. Especially if you watch it when I watched it, because I watched it in that same age, that coming of age range, when you kind of understand like liking the girl and you wanting her and her not really wanting you the same way. She kind of, bro, that movie hit different. That's a tearjerker movie, bro. Must watch, definitely a must watch. You know, it's definitely the kind of movie you watch. See, listen, man, that's why I say the old man game is undefeated, man. If you know how to use it, you get them. You know what I'm saying? You pull out a movie like that on a young little Gen Zer. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna have y'all movie nights, and you're gonna show her a movie every week that she don't know about, and it's gonna be a surprise, and it's gonna be like a movie that she's just gonna be like, wow, yeah, man, that's one of them ones. But yeah, man, and then continuing on, she's made many statements about how she didn't really want to be married, she didn't want to really have kids. Almost like she changed the direction. She said she wanted to be a career woman. I think she might have been a model. So she wanted to probably be a model and live it up a certain way, and then have her fun in her 20s, and then make the guy settle down with her in her 30s, which is like basically most modern women's playbook. And that's why I tell men, do not be the man who finishes off a woman's fun time. You know, when the woman says she's had her fun and she's ready to settle down, yeah, she's had her fun, and you ain't gonna have none of it. Thing. But what made me get into this lesson? Because there's videos circulating, and by the way, you know, there's been times when Steph Curry and Drake were in certain rooms, and Ayesha was there. I think when Ayesha either wrote a book or something like that, I think Drake happened to be in the same city and showed up to it, took a picture with her. Now, Ayesha went over to Italy, and I didn't even really know that it was recent. I seen somebody talking about it, and I was like, oh, that must have been a year or two ago. Who knows? You know? No, it was recent, because I saw a video pop up on my feed of Drake performing in Milan, Italy, which he's never performed in Italy. So what happened was Ayesha took a girls trip to Italy under the cover that she's going there for her cousin's 40th birthday. It might even be a play cousin, who is part of OVO Mark. I don't know what he does for Drake, but his name is OVO Mark or something like that. He's celebrating his 40th birthday in Italy. So she used that as an opportunity to go on a girls trip to Italy without Steph, to celebrate her, quote unquote, her cousin's 40th birthday. And who's over there? Drake. They got a picture of her with her and other females, with her female friends, and Drake. She's not standing next to Drake. She's like a girl away from Drake, but she's in there in some revealing clothing, showing off her legs, you know, basically in thought attire. And knowing the history of Drake and how Drake don't mind smashing your girl, your wife, your sister, or whatever, that's not a good sign. Because Drake, remember what happened with Drake and Lil Wayne? Drake smashed one of Lil Wayne's girls. Not one of his baby mamas, but a girl that was dating or with Lil Wayne. And when Lil Wayne got locked up, Drake smashed her. Okay? So Drake is not someone who has boundaries. And Ayesha definitely wants to have her little fun. And, you know, if I'm Steph, that's something that will be bothersome to me, even some of the stuff that she's saying. And I don't know if it's going to lead to a divorce, but my guy, you know, this is where this whole Christianity pill of people just willingly put themselves as sacrifice to legally marry a woman and have kids with her, the way that this society's set up, is just an L waiting to happen. It's just an L waiting to happen. And unfortunately, so many men fall into this trap because they feel they're supposed to do it. And I understand that trap, because if you don't really understand scripturally things the right way, you're going to believe you legally got to get married under the state to deal with a woman. And now, you're in California, you got 10 plus years. Then California is an alimony state. So we're talking about this woman, we're talking about if she files for divorce, not only is she going to get a good chunk of his money, but she's going to get child support. I think they got like 4 kids, something like that. And then she's going to get alimony as well. She could file for alimony. So we're talking about like a major, probably the biggest sports divorces, if she presses that button, bro. And a lot of men don't understand it. I mean, I'm telling you, bro. And Steph was in that era, in that LeBron, Dwayne Wade era, Chris Bosh, where those guys were still getting married. Where like now, these guys like the Kevin Durant's, the Kyrie Irvings of the world, they know to play and they don't want to be victims of it. So they just don't get married, At least with Kyrie, I think he has a child, but he's not legally married. And I don't think he's going to get legally married anytime soon. And he's still with the mother of his children. He gets, and that's technically would be marriage on a biblical level. But what's happening in this day and age is very, very unfortunate. And if you're Steph Curry, you're worth like, bro, he's going to be probably worth at least $500 million by the time he retires. Somewhere around there. Because he's known to have invested in a lot of tech startups. Pretty sure he's got crypto, ETFs, all kind of stuff, bro. All kind of freaking investments with that money he got. Then he's got a lifetime Under Armour deal, which, he actually, made them relevant when it came to basketball because they needed somebody. And he kind of fulfilled that role. You know what I'm saying? He did his thing fulfilling that role. And I'm not really, I've been away from the sneaker game for a minute. But I do remember when I was in it, when it came to hoop shoes, Under Armour, at least a few years back, I don't know about now, but Steph Curry's Under Armour were very popular for hooping. Definitely like a top 5 sneaker, especially like in the peak of Golden State years. And of course, Golden State, being, the dynasty they were, a lot of attention on him and his brand. And Steph Curry became, a 2-time MVP, I believe, and then a unanimous MVP. You know what I'm saying? I think he's the first unanimous MVP in league history, if I'm not mistaken. I think LeBron could have had it, but I think one of them voters hated on him from like Boston or something like that. But yeah, man, Steph is in a situation that is very, very tough. And there's really no way to fix it because you're not going to increase the desire. You can't. You've done everything. You're 6'2". You know what I'm saying? You're light skinned. With that, whoever that's important to. You got the hazel green eyes or whatever. You got the freaking accolades. You got the respect among men. You're a legend. You know what I'm saying? This is like another Tom Brady type situation, my guy. Like, you at the pinnacle of the sport. You're legendary. You're transcendent. Men respect you. Little young men want to be like you. I mean, this man literally changed bro. You had guys in the NBA, they started shooting a bunch of threes. They started shooting far threes because of him, bro. Like, I don't think people understand, like, what he did, like, to the game, bro. He literally, like, made people change the way that they play. Like, his presence in the NBA literally shifted the way the NBA was played, like, considerably. Like, look at the all-time three-point attempts now in the league because of him. And to a lesser degree, Clay. You know what I'm saying? But, you can also give credit to Steve Kerr for allowing him to let that thing fly, right? But it's kind of sick, bro. It's sick, man. It's a sick situation, bro. But it just lets you know, man, these men talking about self-improvement, man, you never win in that game, bro. It's about the woman's heart. That's why I tell you, man, get your leverage. Your leverage, man. Don't be scared of leverage, man. A lot of men are scared of leverage. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about getting leverage after the fact. You need to meet a woman at the point of her weakness and your strength over her. Because what happened was, if you look at it from a psychological perspective, it's like Steph had to do things, even though it might look like that to the woman, because in the woman it's unattractive. It makes it look like he had to do things to self-improve himself to get to the point where he became an NBA player to get her. You know what I'm saying? Versus like how psychologically it would have been better if he was in a position of strength. He was in a position where he can dictate things emotionally, because it's about having that emotional leverage over the woman. The emotional leverage really on Ayesha's side, because she controlled the passion. She controlled the desire. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't understand that, bro. It's so heavy. This is one of the reasons why, if you ever self-improve, or you become famous, or you rich, don't go back for the woman that rejected you, bro. That's like, she'll punish you, because she'll resent you, because in a way, in her mind, she's like, why weren't you him before, when I met you? Why did you have to become him after I met you? Don't do it, bro. I know the temptation is there to get her, to win her over. If you improved yourself and you're gonna go back and get this girl that overlooked you, don't do it, man. Get you a new woman, bro. Expand your option for a new woman that's gonna really appreciate you, bro. And I think a lot of men, because of the sentiment, they say men are the real lovers, bro. We're the real romantics. That's a good romance story for you to, in your mind, you're like, man, I got better and I won her over and she liked me and she appreciates me. She sees me, loves me for who I am now. And bro, it ain't worth it, bro. It ain't worth it. That's why I'm a proponent of leverage. Leverage, man. You know what I'm saying? And you got to know the right way to wield that leverage, that strength, man, that power over the woman, man. You know? You got to have her have that desire to fight, to want to be with you, man. You got to have her doing things that she never would have thought about doing. Cooking, cleaning, she reading cookbooks. You know what I'm saying? She find out what your favorite meal is, and she like, man, let me find out how to make this for him. You know what I'm saying? You got women out there, they know the man's mother knows how to make a particular dish that he ate growing up. And they go and they be like, let me get the recipes. Teach me how to make this stuff for your son. You feel me? So yeah, man. Somber's reminder that even if you worth half a billy, 6'2", light skin with the colored eyes, the best shooter of all time, boy, still could be trouble in paradise. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next episode.